I learned one thing for sure yesterday, and that's that Macklin Celebrini should be on Team Canada for the Olympics. I'm Jake, I can't skate, and this is a Flames hockey game day recap. I knew I shouldn't have switched out of the Blacks again. The Blacks were doing well, but no, seriously. Macklin Celebrini put on a show, and he put on a show in such a way that it perfectly encapsulates the argument of the guys that are saying high draft pick or bust. 2 goals, 2 assists, controlled the game, took it over immediately. And even when the Flames fought back, which they did impressively, both at the beginning and at the start of the third period, he's one of those guys sort of in the mold of Connor McDavid right now, Sidney Crosby and Alexander Ovechkin in their prime, that can just decide to take over the game, to change it, and there's nothing you can do about it. Outside of Dustin Wolf, and eventually Zane Parekh, hopefully he gets some more of that development at World Juniors this year. The Flames don't really have that in a skater. They win collectively. They do not have a singular star focus in any position other than goal. I still don't believe you can punt seasons to hopefully find this person, because the draft is a crapshoot. You can have somebody you're absolutely sure is going to be a superstar in this league, and they tear their ACL in training camp, and that's done. However, this is why I always couch my statements by saying I do see the benefits if the Flames finish low in the standings, because we have pieces, and adding somebody like a Macklin Celebrini is somebody to absolutely build around. On a more lighthearted note, this game also showed me that I am not immune from the good old announcer's jinx, because after last game, I was praising Dustin Wolf to high heaven, deservedly so, but I also said I fully expected a dynamite performance, because until yesterday, that's all we'd seen from Wolfie playing the Sharks. And to be fair to Wolfie, Macklin Celebrini and once again the hockey gods did not make this easy on the Flames. However, this was not your usual Dustin Wolf playing the Sharks performance. The first 2 shots of the game go in, which is very much more Mike Smith than Dustin Wolf. And then after the Flames valiantly fight back on beautiful tic-tac-toe plays that end in Blake Coleman and Ryan Lomberg goals, this game was the definition of secondary scoring for the Flames. Wolfie has one squeak through him that the Sharks tap in to make it 3-2 with less than a minute to go in the first. And that really was a backbreaker in this game, because the Flames had fought and clawed and got right back in this hockey game, only to go down again. And that third one is one that Dustin Wolf really is not gonna like. With that being said, after the first period, I would say Wolfie was back to his usual brilliant self for the most part, excluding utter lapses of coverage or Macklin Celebrini breakaways where he stops the initial chance and it goes in off Celebrini's shin pad. But for the most part, after a rough first period, Dustin Wolf did bounce back. But after that initial pushback by the Flames, where beautiful goals by Coleman and Lomberg were scored, Askarov did a very similar thing and was very good when the Flames did have chances in the second and the first part of the third period. When the Sharks made it 4-2, game was over. Oh, by the way, good guys lose 6-3 to the San Jose Sharks. Like, honestly, there's not a whole ton to the story of this game. After the Sharks get the lead back after Calgary's push, and then after the Sharks extend their lead, because Calgary pushed back, made it a hockey game, a pretty soft third goal puts them behind the 8-ball again. They push and can't beat Askarov. They have a really strong start to the third period. The Sharks extend their lead, and then it all goes wrong. Once it's 4-2, you could see the light go out of the Flames' eyes, so to speak. You even got a bit of an outburst from Rasmus Andersson slamming his stick, although I think Twitter is making a lot more of that in terms of his overall mood, as opposed to, once again, it seems the whistles are tilted towards the Flames' opponents, and then Rasmus gets called on a couple of weak calls. I'd be slamming my stick too. But all in all, a young, talented team showed us they were young and talented, beat the doors off us in fits and starts, and held off our attempts at coming back. Like, honestly, that's what this game was. The Sharks' young talent beating our collective talent. Let me know what you thought of the game. Let me know if you think those trades are coming sooner or later. I think they come before the Olympics. I've heard the argument that you can't risk having Olympic injuries to your trade pieces. That makes a lot of sense to me. Let me know who you would be drafting wherever the Flames are drafting. And let me know what you think happens after the Flames come home. If Macklin Celebrini's not on the Olympic team, we're doing it wrong. Do all the YouTube things, like, comment, share, and subscribe. And as always, go Flames.